Hello class, welcome to the review on the make directory command. The make directory command is the command that we use for making directories or folders inside our Linux system. The formula for this command is quite simple. Make directory and the name of the directory that we want to create. This command, like all the others, accepts either a relative path or an absolute path to where we want to create the directories. You can also make multiple directories at the same time, provided that you separate the name of the directories by a space. Now, you can also create directories that have a space in their name, but you have to surround them with either single quotes or double quotes. Now, if a directory already exists, you're going to see a generic error letting you know that the directory cannot be created because it exists. Now, let's take a look at some of the examples of the make directory command. So, we're going to practice the first command, which is making a simple directory, right? So, let's open a terminal and let's just go full screen for the sake of it. I'm going to make a folder called wallpapers. So, we're going to do mkdir and then wallpapers. This is going to create a directory called wallpapers inside my present working directory. Here, if I type ls, you're going to notice that a folder called wallpapers was created. If I want to create a folder inside wallpapers, I can either do it with absolute path or relative path. Let's look at an example of doing it with absolute path. So I'm going to create a folder in wallpapers called, let's say 4K. So we're going to do mkdir wallpapers and then 4K. Notice that if I type ls wallpapers, there is a folder called 4K. I use absolute path over here and then the name of the folder in the end. Now let's do the same thing, this case using relative path. So we're going to do mkdir wallpaper and then 2K. Now this is relative because the folder wallpaper is located inside my present working directory. So I can access this folder from my current location. If we type enter over here and we repeat the ls command, notice that now we have two folders here, 2K and 4K. As we mentioned earlier, we can make more than one directory. For instance, I can do mkdir wallpapers, I say ocean. We can also do wallpapers mountain, and we can also do wallpapers random. Notice that now I have mountain, ocean, and random inside wallpapers. You can also look at this graphically by opening the file manager. Notice my folder here, and here are the folders that I just created. Now, we can also create more than one folder at a time, meaning I want to create a folder called wallpapers, and then a folder called ocean, and then a folder called 4K inside there. Something similar to this. First, allow me to remove the wallpapers directory. So I want to create this. Wallpapers, ocean, then 4K. So I want to create the folder 4K inside ocean, and then ocean inside wallpapers. Now this is going to give me one error. The error here says, hey, I cannot create the folder 4K because ocean does not exist. Now to fix this, we can provide the argument, the option -p, which will create the parent directory or as many parent directories as are necessary in order to create 4K. In this instance, it will create ocean, then it will create wallpapers, and finally it will create 4K inside ocean. Let's press enter over here. And if we do a tree of wallpapers to see everything inside wallpapers, you're going to notice that it created exactly what we wanted to do. I'm going to clear my screen here one more time. And now I want to create a folder called pictures from DR. So I'm going to do mkdir pictures from DR. Now, my intention is to create a folder whose name is pictures from DR. This is similar to opening a file manager, right click, new folder, and calling it pictures from DR. Now when I do this, notice that a folder with that name gets created. I want to do the same in the command line. So I'm going to move this to trash first. When I press enter over here, that's not what is going to happen. If I press enter here, oh, pictures already exist, my apologies, that's not what I want to, this is what I want. Notice that when I do this and I type ls, it doesn't create a folder called pictures from DR. Instead, it creates one folder called DR, one folder called from, and it creates also one folder called pictures. As you learned before, you get this error message here, cannot create directory, file exists, meaning that this file already exists, so I cannot create a new folder with the same name. Now, to fix this problem, now let's first remove from, also DR, and also pictures. All right, let's remove that. To fix this, we need to surround this string with quotes. I suggest using double quotes just in case you want to use single quotes in the middle. Now, when we do this, notice that now we have one folder called pictures from DR. You surround this with double quotes because when you do this, you are telling the terminal, hey, the space in this string is part of the name of the folder. Please do not create three folders. We can also create something like this, mkdir. So let's remove that real quick. Now let's do mkdir pictures dr, right? And notice that now we have a name of a folder that contains a single quote in between its file name. Remember, whenever you want to create a folder that contains a special character like a space or a single quote inside its name, please use double quotes to surround your string. This is not a good practice, and I recommend you to stay away from it. Another way to escape this space character here is to use the backslash. So I'm going to clear my terminal here, and I'm going to do mkdir my photos. Now this backslash here is going to tell the terminal, bash, the shell, please ignore this space and instead make this whole thing the name of my folder. When I press enter over here and I type ls, notice that a folder called my photos was created. This method is called escaping a special character. Again, I advise against creating files like this because it can create a lot of confusion and it can make working on the command line more complicated than it needs to be. Stick to single words, and if you need to create a particular folder with multiple words, either use camel case or separate it with an underscore. Something like this, mkdir my underscore photos or my photos. If you type ls, notice that I created this folder, and also my photos and my photos over here. Now let's clean it up a little bit. Okay, great. Now, that is the practice on the make directory command. To practice this command, I encourage you to come up with directory names from the top of your head, come up with a location when you want to create them, and then just try to make it happen in the command line. There are also practice in the presentation. I'll see you in the next video.